I'm Todd Lewis from Fiasco Sports, reporting for the SA Footballer magazine. Today I'm joined by Tom Zed from the Blackfriars Old Scholars Football Club in Division 5, and he's our feature club legend of the week. So Tom, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved in football?
Been involved in footy most of my life, Todd. Like a lot of people, grew up with it. Played my junior footy at Fitzroy Footy Club and moved on from there to Ovingham for a couple of years. Went up to the Riverland and was involved up there, more so off the field. I was a sports reporter up there for a while, and then went overseas for a couple of years and sort of got pretty rusty. Didn't play too much footy over in Europe, and came back. It was good timing just as the Old Scholars side was being formed, and had some guys invite me to come out and have a kick there. Had a kick with the Old Scholars in 2006 and have been with the club ever since.
What is it about Blackfriars, do you think, that's kept you around the place?
I think part of it is being involved with the club pretty much from the outset. There were a small group of people who founded the club and got it going in the months leading up to me hearing about it and signing up. And a lot of those people are still around 10 and a bit years later. So there's a real sort of community, family vibe at the club that has built up over the years, and that we work on continuing and improving on each year. Being a small club and a club with a short history, it's just a very close-knit bunch of people, so it's good fun to be part of.
You mentioned travelling to Europe for a couple of years. When you came back, you would have been rusty, but did you have a newfound passion for the game, having been away from it for so long?
I was extremely rusty, but yeah, I did. I think Aussie rules is a unique sport, and while there are teams in other parts of the world, it's just not the same. There's not the same focus on it and the same passion about it that you find here. And I think that's what drew me to get back into it after a couple of years out of the sport. That just seeing how passionate people were about this new club that they'd started, it really gave me a new passion for footy after a few years out of it.
Now, I believe you're the president of the club now. Have you found that role? Obviously pretty challenging. I've talked to presidents before and they say it's a bit like a full-time job. Have you found it challenging, and is there a lot of reward to come from it as well?
It's certainly challenging, particularly, I think this goes for all clubs, but we're only a small club, so we don't have juniors and other sort of areas of support that some other larger clubs might have. But what we do have is a fantastic group of volunteers, and I think that's the key to meeting that challenge and still being able to have success on and off the field is to just have good people that are very generous with their time and efforts around the club. We've certainly got that, but it is a very challenging role. It can sometimes feel like a full-time job, but the rewards are there. We're having some success this year, and whether it's success in terms of results or success just in terms of seeing the people at your footy club enjoying their footy if they're players, or enjoying being part of it if they're members and supporters, that's what it's all about. I think that's why anyone does the job, and it's certainly why I do it.
Yeah, so you mentioned success. Would you say that's your main goals and objectives as a president, or are there other things you want to build at the footy club?
Yeah, certainly. We are only 10 and a bit years old. We've got a number of things that we'd like to improve on at the footy club, including our facilities. We're in the Adelaide City Council area, so there are some issues there with us being a sub-leasee and just needing to have several different parties on board in order to do anything, plus the eternal challenge that all clubs face in terms of being able to have the funds to do the things we'd like to do. But I think all of these things tie together, Todd, that success on the field attracts people to the club, having more people at the club builds success off the field, and that provides you with, I guess, the momentum, the impetus and the will, and perhaps the ability financially to be able to improve things. And I think if you get it right, then all those things sort of flow into one another, and hopefully you can end up with a footy club that's moving in the right direction.
Okay, and just on the footy club, are there any sponsors you'd like to mention? Obviously, there's plenty of clubs that have sponsors, and they're the key to making it run on a Saturday. So just give them a bit of a plug.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to take that opportunity. Our main sponsor is the Wellington Hotel in North Adelaide. We basically go back there every Saturday night after the game. They look after us really well. We have a good feed and a few drinks there, and the boys enjoy that, do our presentations there as well. So they're a fantastic support. We've also got a host of other sponsors, including a lot who either have a connection to the school or are themselves old scholars, so the support coming back in that way is great. We've got Lucia's Fine Foods, My Local Butcher in Prospect, Kachina North Adelaide, Dulux Acrotex, Goodyear Auto Care Hampstead Gardens, HMV Engineering, JS Sports, who do all of our clothing and merchandise, All Fresh Fruit and Veg, Sign Class, Body Fit Physiotherapy, Bakery on O'Connell and Terry Howe Printing. And I'd also like to, give a bit of a shout out to Blackfriars Priory School. Their support, both in terms of the deal we have with them for our facilities, but also in terms of some logistical support that they provide to us, and just the connection we have with them has really been pretty crucial to the club continuing to achieve success and improve over the 10 years we've been around.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a pretty exciting time for such a young club, so thanks for sharing that with us, Tom. I'm Todd Lewis from Fiasco Sports, reporting for the SA Football Magazine. Today I've been joined by Tom Zed from the Blackfriars Old Scholars Football Club in Division 5, and he's our feature club legend of the week.